God, I don't know. We're going to find out. I'm going to check the volume thing here because, again, I'm paranoid. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Ah, aloha. Morning, guys. How we doing? First of all, I just want to again congratulate you guys on finishing where you finished up here and now getting to the point where we're ready for this the big test prep stuff. Before I do that, I'm wearing one of my favorite Aloha shirts. This is an Aloha shirt for the St. Louis Cardinals, the St. Louis baseball Cardinals. I say baseball Cardinals like there's any other kind of Cardinals in St. Louis now, but again, this is a shirt that makes my little girl, my Principessa, smile when she sees me wear. So hi, honey, this is for you. Okay, so guys, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the test prep piece and how we're going to approach this, gearing up to go to Grand Junction to take that big, scary FAA knowledge exam. And I say scary knowledge exam facetiously because it will not be scary to you when you're ready to take this bad boy. So we're going to talk about how we're going to get there. So in order to do that, we're going to have to leave the beach. I know. Where's the fun in that? So guys, what I want to show you here is prepware. So when we look at prep, oh goodness, I've got to get this. Hang on. Let's go back to this. We'll go back to me in a dark screen here for just a minute, shall we? So with prepware, what I have loaded onto prepware right now, I have loaded a series of 10, count them, 10 practice tests for the private pilot knowledge exam. So when we look at this, you can see that when you go to your active quizzes, there are 10 private pilot airplane quizzes that are going to be spring 2018. Notice the date here as well. And there are 10 of these. Now, just the way that they kind of alphabetize all of these here, you'll notice that 10 comes right after 1, just because there's a 0 after the 1, and it's just kind of a weird thing, but that's just sort of how they do it. So you'll see 10 of these quizzes. So those are going to be set up for you. As soon as we have everybody through the private pilot piece, well, at some point next week, I will load 10 instrument rating quizzes just like these here for the private pilot. But the first thing we're going to knock out is the private pilot. Okay, so with that, I want to show you here also a couple of things and a couple of ways to help you prepare. This is the part where you're getting ready to do this. So the first thing that I want you guys to do is I'm going to change this screen thing here back because I don't need to show this other thing, and this just, well, it just makes me smile. So this comes down to big blue and big red. It just so happens I have big red right here, but for the purposes of the private pilot, clearly you're going to want to have big blue. Remember how I told you to use this book. This book, up until now, has been a study guide. We have not used it as a crutch. But now we're going to take all of that knowledge that you have bouncing around inside that noggin of yours, and we're going to pair that up with this guide that will help you through a multiple guess government examination. And that's what we're going to be doing. So remember how we do this. You'll start at the very beginning. You'll start with chapter 1, and here's what you do. You're going to read the preface at the beginning of every study unit, and you'll read those, and that will refresh your memory as far as what goes where. And you start at the very beginning. After you read the study unit, there will be a series of questions. Remember, you're looking for PAR, that's going to be in the heading, or all, for the questions that pertain to you. Helicopter, while fun, may not help you out too much on this thing. So you want to make sure that you're looking at the right questions. Remember, it's private pilot airplane, PAR, or all. Those are the questions that you're going to be looking at. When you look at those questions, remember how to do this. you're going to take a little card and you're going to lay this card down right below the question. Rule number 1, RTFQ. Rule number 2, RTFQ times 2. Do not allow yourself to look at the options until you have a clear understanding of what the question is asking. Don't look, okay? After you have read the question twice, then you're going to formulate what you believe the answer to be in your head. Then you're going to look at all 3 options. Don't just get to B, think, oh, I've got this whipped. Fail to look at C and understand that C could be the correct answer. Read all 3. One thing I can tell you, one of those answers is going to pop out at you. Trust your gut. Go with that answer that pops out at you, okay? Once you select that answer, don't change it. Only change that answer if you have a compelling reason to do so. Any question that requires computation, flag it, come back to it. Now remember, in big blue, you're going to be going through the questions. You know what's coming at you, so you're not going to be flagging anything. But when you get to the quiz, you are going to be flagging those questions that require computation, correct? Okay? Then you're going to go back through after you have done everything on the quiz, and you're going to make sure that you've answered all of the questions. You would be surprised at the number of students who give points back to the FAA because they simply forgot to answer the rest of the questions. Don't let that happen to you. That's just easy points that you're giving back. So, you will use this guide, cover the answers, read the question, follow everything else, look at the answers, tick mark the answer, make sure that that's correct. Whoops, sorry about that. I thought that was off. My apologies. What you're going to do is that once you know the correct answer to that question, you are going to highlight the answer only. Do not highlight the letter that's in front of the answer. Do not highlight the A, B, or C. Only highlight the answer. The reason being is because you don't want to, in your noggin, you don't want to associate a letter with the appropriate answer. You want to know what that answer is because they're going to mix them up. So those are going to be mixed. So don't highlight the letter, just highlight the answer. Go through that particular study section, okay? Then read the next study unit guide, answer the questions. Study unit guide, answer the questions. When you are done with the chapter, like chapter 1, then go back to the beginning and I want you to read the question, read the answer. Read the question, read the answer. Read the question, read the answer. Done. Go to chapter 2. Follow it the same way with that. Follow it sequentially, all the way through. When you are done with the entire book, then go back to the very beginning of chapter 1 and one more time, go back through the book, read the question, read the answer. Read the question, read the answer. Read the question, read the answer. Get to the end of the chapter, stand up, walk around for a few minutes, go get a drink of water, make yourself a sandwich, go wax the truck. Do something and then come back when you're fresh and do chapter 2. Same thing. Finish up chapter 2. Oh, do some stretches, get up, kind of move around. Do chapter 3. Get through the book first. Get through the book first. I realize I'm holding up big red here. Get through big blue, get through the book, then prepare to do the prepware quizzes. Do the book first and then do the prepware quizzes. The prepware quizzes are going to be timed. They're going to be 2.5 hours, just like you have to take that exam in Grand Junction. So Everything is going to be test mode. Once you do these tests and you're able to do these tests in class, and it won't take you that long because you're going to have 2.5 hours, but you're going to be able to get through these. What we want is that we want back-to-back 90% output or better. I need 2 quizzes back-to-back 90% or better, and I will endorse your logbook, and then it's off to Grand Junction to take this quiz. As soon as we have people through the private, we start on the instrument. Okay? So, Big Blue first, then prepware. Okay? That's kind of how we do it. Another thing about Big Blue is I also want you to understand this. The study guide, not the study guide, I'm sorry, but the computer testing supplements, okay? So this is the supplement piece that comes in. This, of course, is big red because it's just what I happen to have up here. This is the computer testing supplement that you have. This is that thing that you will be able to take with you into that exam in Grand Junction. Now, it's not the one that you have. They're going to give you one. So, but this is something that you get to have with you for the examination. What can you take in with you? Almost nothing, because they're going to give you everything in there. You're going to have a pencil. They're going to give you blank scratch paper. They're going to give you a transparency to put over some of the illustrations for you to draw on, because they don't want you drawing on the book. When you put that transparency down over, let's say, a sectional map in something, you'll lay the transparency down on it. You do the little tick marks in the corners of this with the dry erase marker that they're going to give you, so that you know where that transparency lines up, and in case you move it around or whatever, we'll practice this in class. But you do this here so that you can use the transparency. You can use a flight computer, whether that is your own E6B that you have, or whether it is a dedicated flight computer. You cannot use your phones, okay? You can use a regular type of a calculator, but they're going to make sure that the memory is wiped out of the calculator, because some of them right now, you can program stuff in there, I guess. And so they'll wipe out the memory of all of that. So you can take a calculator, or they'll give you a calculator if you want. I think they'll give you one. But your E6B flight computer, you can take that in there. And the reason that I'm telling you this is you have to know always, we talked about this at the beginning of the year. Whenever you're studying for something, whenever you're getting ready to do something, big, kind of like this, what are my assets? What are my liabilities? What do I have that's working for me? What do I have that's working against me? Do you think this can be one of those things that can be working for you? Absolutely. Because remember what's in this. If you look at the first few pages of this, there's your legend for your sectional map. Okay? That tells you everything that you need to know with regard to airspace, with regard to routing, with regard to what does this color of this airport mean. All of that is there. The legend is there. What about the chart supplement guide or the old AFD? All of that's in there. The legend of that is here for this. This is what you're going to go to when you're answering these questions. So wouldn't it make sense to know exactly what is in this book and how to use it? It's like METARs. How many questions are they going to ask you about METARs? Well, if they're asking you to decipher a METAR, there's only one illustration in the book like this that talks about METARs. If you know all of those, you're going to be able to answer all of the questions that they ask you to say, take a look at the second METAR in figure 49. I don't know that it's figure 49, but I'm just saying as an example. And if you know all of those, you've got it. You know what they are. So my point is, use the computer testing supplement as not just a guide, but a test aid. It's almost cheating, but we're not calling it cheating. We're calling it proper use of resources. So when you use this, use it to your advantage. Stack the deck in your favor, and this helps you do it. What else is going to help you do it? Remember the mnemonics? Remember all of the little guide things that I had you draw? The things that you have committed to memory? Things like Mr. R's foolproof method to prevent flying out to sea. Remember that? How about the VFR weather minimum triangle? How about that? How about the formulas for weight and balance? How about those? So remember, those are the things that you're going to be able to pull from to help you answer these questions. Mr. R's foolproof method to flying out to sea and the VFR weather triangle, those are going to be things, that's the first thing that you do when they give you that scratch paper. Before you hit go, before you begin your test, they may start the clock on you to do that, and that's okay. You're going to have plenty of time. But what you're going to do is, you're going to draw out Mr. R's foolproof method to prevent flying out to sea. You are going to draw the VFR weather minimum triangle. And you're going to use that to help you answer those questions. Use that. Those are some of the assets that you have. Those are things that you have to commit to memory, but you write those down right off the bat before you go in there and you start thinking about answering questions. This is something that you have to practice. It's not something you can just show up and say, oh, okay, now what was that again? You have to practice this, guys. You're going to have to sit down and you're going to have to practice drawing the VFR weather minimum triangle. You're going to have to practice drawing the flying out to sea business. So just remember, that is going to be a skill set you must acquire. Okay? So that's kind of it on the test prep piece. This is the part right now, guys, where we pull it all together. Everything that you have done for this last year comes down to this. And it's all pulling it together. That first quiz that you take on there may be a little sobering. And if that quiz is the kind of thing where you think, oh my gosh, I didn't remember this section at all. Well, before you take the second quiz on prepware, you go back to the book and you review that section. What was it that you missed? Is there something that you didn't understand? If there is a conceptual thing going on with all of that, then by all means, let me know. Tell me what your questions are. I mean, I'm still going to answer questions for you. But if it's just effort, well, I can't help you much with that. But that's got to be the thing that you need to do, okay? All right? That's the basis of test prep. So, if you guys have questions on that, write them down, let me know. And from now on in class from now on, it is test prep. The class is going to be quiet. The class is going to be testing environment quiet. And all the time that you are there now is test prep, okay? So there it is, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. And next week, certainly when I'm back in Aspen, we're going to see where we are, and we're going to start planning on getting to Grand Junction and knocking out this test. Those of you that are age appropriate to take the test, we'll start figuring out Grand Junction. Those of you that are not, we're going to figure out where you are, get you ready to go, get you ready to take the class final, because remember, the FAA is going to be the final. And so we'll get ready to do that as well. But from now on in class, it's test prep. That's what you're going to do. Okay? So, guys, have an awesome day, and I will see you soon. Send me a text message or email if you have questions, guys. Okay? And see you in a little while.